Hello everybody, this is JJ bringing you a quick tutorial on Factorization Sculpting. Not many people know about this part of the mod because not many people know how to use it, so it's usually ignored. It's mainly just an aesthetic feature, just something fun to do, spend some time doing. It's a great time killer. But basically what it is you can create clay sculptures with Factorization using clay, and there's different glazes that you can color the parts, and really you're only limited to what you can think of creating. And in this tutorial, I'll just run over the basic mechanics of it, and I'll do a short time lapse of me making a sculpture at the end. So let's get into the crafting recipes. First, you start off by making a sculpture with a piece of clay and any wooden slab. So it's pretty cheap. It's all it costs. And then next is the sculpting tool. This is the tool that, well, these are the tools. There's more than one of them, but you start off with this one. This is the tool that you manipulate the sculpture and shape and change your pieces with. And it's made with a stick and a piece of clay, so again, it's pretty cheap. Now, you're going to have to make multiple of these because to get the, if you notice, that makes the move tool. And we'll go over what each tool does later on, but that makes the move tool. Then to get the rotate tool, you just put the move tool in a crafting grid by itself. And then next, to get the reset tool, you just do the same with the rotate tool, just put it in a crafting grid. And then last of all, you can put the reset tool in a crafting grid and you get the mold tool. And then you can always put the mold tool back in the crafting grid and you get a move tool again. Then the last tool you're going to need is the stretch tool, and that's made by holding shift and right clicking with the move tool. Now obviously you could just use just one move tool and switch it back and forth between stretch and move, but I don't really like to do that. I like to have both just for ease of use. But that's just my personal preference. You don't have to do that. Now that we got all the tools and we got the sculpture, let's move on to actually sculpting. This is my setup that I always use for sculpting. You don't have to set it up like this. This is just my personal preference. What this does is allows me to access all 6 sides of the sculpture easily. And of course, if you have some way of creative flight, you can just put it up in the air and just fly around it and sculpt, but this is a survival friendly option for people that have no flight. And yes, you can sculpt below the sculpture. It does extend below the wood slab that is usually there when you place it, but if you notice, my sculpture does not have a wood slab below it, and it is white instead of the gray clay texture. The reason behind this is the sculpture dried out. If you leave a sculpture out for too long, it will dry out, and you'll get this, and you can't alter it. You can't use any of the tools on it. It doesn't do anything. To rehydrate it, you simply just right-click it with a water bucket, and there we go. So now that the sculpture is moist again, we can begin with the tools. I'll start off with the move tool, since obviously that's the first tool you make. And what the move tool does is, whatever face you right-click on, it moves that face, or moves the whole part, 1 pixel towards that face. And then if you shift right-click, it pushes it away. Simple as that. That can be done on any side, pull that side towards us. And like I said before, even though you can't see it through the slab, you can pull it below the wood slab on the bottom. So all that does is just move the part that you right-click on. Next up is the stretch tool, and similarly, whatever side you right-click on, it extends that side 1 pixel, and then if you shift right-click, it pushes it back in 1 pixel. And you can make the thing smaller than it started off as. And similar to the move tool, you can stretch it below the slab. Simple as that. Now the rotate tool, it will create an axis on the side you right click, and it will rotate it clockwise on that axis. And you can do that as much as you want. And then if you shift right click, it rotates it counterclockwise. Of course, you can rotate it all kinds of different ways. So it's all screwed up like that. And then the reset tool will obviously reset it to its normal position. It will not reset any stretching or anything, that just resets rotating. So keep that in mind, or any movements. Like if I move it all the way out here, or right click with the reset tool, it doesn't do anything. And that's all the tools, except for the mold tool, but we'll go over the mold tool once we have a finished sculpture. So we'll save that one for later. Let's put that up there. So now that we have all the tools down, let me get something to look at. And I'm going to do a time lapse of a sculpture. Let's get something easy. Let's try this. I'm going to sculpt a Hydra head. Let me raise it up so I can see it better. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go now, and you'll see a short time lapse of me sculpting this Hydra head, and we'll be right back. Hey guys, right after I stopped recording to do the time lapse, I realized I forgot to show something kind of important. So I'll show you how all the tools affect the piece of the sculpture that you're using, but I didn't show how to make more pieces, so you might be wondering what the hell you can do with just that little sculpture. But if you right-click a piece with another piece of clay, you make more than one piece that you can move by itself, so you can get more than one piece and make them different sizes, and that's how you make the sculpture, is using more than one piece to basically make the sculpture. So, sorry I didn't show you guys that right away, but there you go. Now into the time lapse.
Is there such a thing as too much of a good thing? I ask myself that every day. That is until the weekend comes and the sun has gone away to sleep. Then there's only one thing in my mind. That's right.
Me and my baby love Saturday nights, Saturday night. Saturday. Yeah, me and my baby love Saturday nights, Saturday night. Saturday. With the dancing and the singing like the weekdays never happened. I could be, I should be dancing right now, 'cause me and my baby love Saturday nights, a Saturday night. Saturday. Yeah, me and my baby love Saturday nights, a Saturday night. Saturday.
Talk of the town is where we're headed next, 'cause everywhere we go is a bit.
Very, very best.
It doesn't matter the company, but we're pretty good company for you to have around.
Around. And me and my baby love Saturday nights, a Saturday night. Saturday. Yeah, me and my baby love Saturday nights, a Saturday night. Saturday.
With the dancing and the singing like the weekdays never happened. I could be, I should be
Dancing right now, 'cause me and my baby love Saturday nights, a Saturday night. Saturday. Yeah, me and my baby love Saturday night.
Saturday. Here we go.
My baby and I, my baby and I. Baby,
We're going dancing tonight. The dull drum of the work week gets me feeling down. Misery and sorrow follow us around. When that music hits and the band starts to play,
please you better get out of our way. 'Cause me and my baby love Saturday nights, Saturday night. Saturday. Yeah, me and my baby love Saturday night. Saturday. Me and my baby love Saturday nights, Saturday night. Saturday. Me and my baby love Saturday.
And there we go, guys. As you can see, it takes a little bit of time to do, but we get pretty close with the results. And just want to point out a few more things before we wrap this up. If you notice, I had a little bit of trouble with this fin here. That's because once you rotate parts, their hitboxes go kind of wonky. So if you see this is the slanted fin that I'm selecting. This part's hitbox is way bigger than the actual thing, and if it covers up another part, I won't be able to access it, so I had to make it a little bit wonky so that I could still access this, which that'll be important when I go to color the part in the next part of the tutorial. So that'll about wrap up this tutorial. In the next part, I'll show you how to glaze and fire to finish off your sculptures. So if you have any questions, just comment and be sure to keep checking back for the next part. Thank you.